like I've never like hated anybody as much as I hate them, like his team. I hate him. I hate everybody associated with them. Just the way they talk, the way they try to avoid it, and they try to act like, oh, we would fight him, but it's like they're trying to do everything they can to avoid it.
Best podcast in the business. The name is Show Me the Money.
Welcome to the Show Me the Money podcast. I'm Matty Betts. Unfortunately, we do not have Money Moicano with us, but I am here with Gilbert Burns and a very special guest, Belal Muhammad. Welcome to the show, brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me, brother.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into it because obviously there's so much to cover today that we can talk about. But first and foremost, we were just talking with Ali about this, but you have hopefully an upcoming fight here. I personally think you deserve it. What's going on? Because we haven't heard about the official announcement. What's your perspective on everything right now?
Bro, I was gonna ask, what did Ali say? I was gonna ask you that same question right now. But it's like every week I come down here. I've been traveling a lot. I get asked the question 55 times a day.
I'm sure.
So now I'm at the point of just like I don't trust anything until it's like
For sure.
I get a contract in front of me, because there was always like, oh, it could be this date, or it could be this date, and then you get your hopes up, and you're like, oh, I want to, like, once you get a fight, like Gilbert knows, like you turn everything up right away.
Yep.
So like just the idea of having a fight, like I've had so many ups and then downs, and then just like depressing states that I'm just like, all right, once I get a contract, I'm not even be thinking about it.
What did he say? He was looking at.
Yeah, but they said no. We all know they have that one in Manchester in July. That's your hope. So on that one, nothing confirmed, but that's your hope.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it makes the most sense. And then for me, it's like, that would be the dream, right? To go into enemy territory and take it from there in front of his people. And it's like the road that I taken, that would be like the dream.
Yeah.
But how's your mind right now? Because that's freaking frustrating. Like you've been waiting for that. You won the fight, #1 contender. Everyone knows that everyone kind of knows that you're next. Yeah. But it doesn't get you. You kind of relax now, or still kind of frustrating waiting for that.
I mean, that's the part where like my faith comes in, right? Because I'm very religious, so it's like God's plan. It's like I put it on my phone. It says patience, and I just like to remind myself every single day. It's like, stop rushing it. Stop, or like, you know, when you look at other fighters, you're like, oh, how come this fighter gets this path to the title? This guy has this path to the title, and it's like, why do I got to take the long road? And then you think about the downs you had, the ups you had, and you think about, that happened for this reason. This happened for that reason.
Yes,
that happened. I had to do this because of this, and it's like, in my religion, it's like God's plan is the best plan. It's always reminding myself that you could want this tomorrow, but if God wants you to have it in a year, in a month, 2 years, 3 years, He knows why. And I think I just got to hold my face strong every time.
Nice.
For sure. Do you think like the UFC, like obviously, I feel like you get like a lot of unwarranted hate, honestly, and like, do you feel like the UFC genuinely does or doesn't want you to be champ, or like what's your take on all of that?
I mean, I don't think so. I think obviously for them, it's what's hot right now, what's going on. They're looking to see what's gonna move the needle, and it's hard because with our division, there's like Leon is like the worst guy to be a champion because he doesn't do social media, he doesn't promote himself, he doesn't promote the division, and when you look at other divisions like Izzy or Volkanovski, when they're champions, they're looking at the next guy and they know they have to build up the next guy and they have to build that match. So after their next fight, he's gonna hop out the cage and he's gonna get in the face of Ilia Topuria and he's like, me and you are next. Izzy is gonna call in Driscus into the cage, me and you are next. Leon is like, he goes into the shadow realm, he goes in hiding after every single fight,
right? And
there's no build up at all. So like even with like the Colby fight, that's the easiest fight to build up because you know Colby's gonna talk trash, but like there was no build up at all because Leon just hates to build anything up. So I think for the UFC, it's hard because they have a champion that doesn't promote.
And what's your take on Colby? Like, do you feel like he was deserving of all the chances he's gotten?
No, I mean, I'm just like, when you lose 3 title fights, I hope they're just done with it now. But I think it comes down to like, once I'm the champion, I think the UFC is gonna be like, oh, we had this here the whole time. Like, I know how to talk. I'm not afraid to promote myself. I'm not afraid to stand in there and fight anybody, right? I'm never gonna say no to a fight. Like, I'll take a fight on a day's notice. So it's like, they've had that underneath them the whole time. And I think once I'm the champion and they see what they had, they're gonna be like, oh, we had this guy. There's 2 billion Muslims in the world right now. And you're gonna have an Arab Muslim when you go to Abu Dhabi, that the people are gonna love when I go over there. It's different. So it's a different type of promotion. Obviously, you have Islam and Khabib, but those are like Russians. So they're gonna have a real Arab that, you know, nobody would ever think that. Right? There's not that a lot of Palestinians out here that make it to the top in any type of sport. So to have me to be a champion and be at that top of the thing, it's something you can promote for sure.
For sure.
And that's fire you up too, right? To become a champion, get like a lot of these Muslim, all these guys that I don't think they have a lot of opportunity with the UFC going there, but you think you'd be kind of, that hype you up to be the face of these Muslim.
Yeah, 100%, especially with the Middle East, right? There's so many kids out there, young kids out there that look up to me, that'll send me a message. That's like when you guys from Brazil, where there's people like, there's opportunity now. For us, it was never like, well, we could be fighters, but now that they have one of their own that's fighting and about to be a champion, they're like, we have that dream now. Now it's achievable, showing that it's achievable. And with the UFC going to Saudi Arabia now, going to Abu Dhabi now, they're going to open a PI over there now. They got money over there to freaking open up one tomorrow,
They're going to open a PI there?
I mean, I'm saying like they'll have that, right? Because they're opening in Mexico now. But think about how much money Saudi will put into that PI over there, bro. They'll have every kid out there being a champ.
For sure.
Did you ever get to a point where just like the frustration takes over throughout this whole process? And was there ever a time where it's like, hey, maybe I'll just go to another organization, or I've had it with all this shit? Like talk us through that.
It's, you know, you've had those moments, but like you have to have the right people around you. I was lucky to have my coach, Lewis Taylor. We've been together since the beginning, since high school. He was my coach, and I've seen like his path. Like he never got a shot in the UFC, never got an opportunity. And he had moments where he was like, bro, like on a 10-fight winning streak, all first round finishes outside of the UFC, and he never got an opportunity.
Wow.
But then PFL came, and then he got his opportunity, and all of a sudden he wins the middleweight title of PFL, $1 million. And there's like many UFC fighters who don't even touch $1 million.
Right.
But like seeing his story and seeing like God's plan, right? Like his path was different. He had to go to PFL, he had to do that, and he had moments where he could have quit, but he was like, you raised me up to where you made me hungry because I saw how hungry you were, so kept me in the gym. Myself now, I have so many young fighters that I train with. We're a small gym, so like when one of us fight, we all fight. I just had Ignacio Balmondes last week, just went. So like
that was a great knockout.
Yeah. So like being able to help him, be in his corner, trying to mentor him, it like keeps me motivated. Because if I'm sitting there depressed, like at home, like I'm not gonna train until I have a fight, it's like those guys are gonna look at that and be like, oh well, maybe we shouldn't train as hard. But if they see me in the gym every day training, it's gonna make them hungrier.
For sure. And I like that because I can see like for sure you're gonna bring all that when they give you a date and they put a contract on your face. You're gonna bring you all that fire, right?
Bro, it's like I've never like hated anybody as much as I hate them, like his team. I hate him. I hate everybody associated with them. Just the way they talk, the way they try to avoid it, and they try to act like, oh, we would fight him, but it's like they're trying to do everything they can to avoid it. And that's what pisses me off more than anything, because like you were just in this boat. Like you weren't giving, you had to fight 9 times to get up to where you were, and you said nobody's giving me a shot. When I get the shot, I'm gonna change the division, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you're doing the exact opposite. So for myself, when I see that fakeness, like, and then you try to play the role of like, oh, I would have beat him anyway, this and this, or trying to brush me down like my achievements aren't worth anything to you. It's like, oh well, let's see if anybody really deserves it next. And you're trying to downplay everything I did when I've literally had the hardest path that anybody's ever had to get where I am right now.
And you're right. It's a 9-fight win streak.
Yeah.
The no contest with Leon, obviously, right?
Yeah. So 10-fight on being 9-fight winning streak.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And like, how do you look at the Leon Edwards fight? Like, how do you think? First of all, how do you think the fight was going in the first fight, and then how do you think it will go this time around?
I mean, honestly, for me, I don't really care about that first fight. It was literally 3 years ago. 2 weeks notice fight, and then it was like me coming off of a fight with Diego Lima. So it's like complete opposites. And Leon was literally off for like 2 years before that, so you don't know which type of fighter you're gonna get.
Right.
So I just brushed that all out. For me now, the version I am now, I don't think there's anybody in the world that's gonna beat me. I don't think there's anybody in the world that could be in there with me. And I think, honestly, if I'm being honest, I think he's the easiest guy in the top 5. So stylistically for myself. Yeah.
So why is that specifically? Just because he's a striker?
Because he's breakable. We've seen him in the Usman fight. And my mentality is to try to break you. And I think that the style that Usman brought in that second fight of walking him down, high volume on him, taking him down, letting him back up, beating him up, getting to the point where bro, he was looking down. His coach had to like motivate him to get up.
Yeah.
When you see his corners, there's never advice in the corner like, yo, let's hit this jab, let's hit that. It's always like, bro, beautiful, Leon, come on, brother. They're trying to give him motivation because he's weak mentally. And I'm the strongest mentally fighter in the UFC.
Yeah.
So my mentality is to walk in there and break him. Now I'm going in there with a different type of anger now because I hate him so much. Yeah. And like the only other fight I really had that type of anger with was the Sean Brady. And I went in there. I didn't have anger with that one before that one. Like that was more so as like, you gotta respect somebody that's willing to take a fight with 3 weeks notice with you, right?
For sure.
And there's always respect with that, and I never had that. But Brady was the only one to ever like talk trash before the fight.
Yeah.
And it was
and
like,
do you think that's do you think that motive, like, because obviously you get a lot of hate for like not getting these finishes, right? But still dominating guys. But like obviously you fought Brady and you were able to find the finish. Do you think there's anything to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, it's hard, right? When you're fighting like the nicest guys, like literally, I'm fighting Damian Maia, then you're going to Wonder Boy, and then Luque, who's super nice, and then Gilbert's super nice. And it's like, you try to find reasons to hate these guys or like to be like, I want to be angry with these guys. But when you got Wonder Boy coming up to be at the weigh-ins like, hey, take a picture with me, and you're like, bro, come on, I'm trying to like dislike you right now. But it's easier to wake up to, and like when you have a kid coming at you saying that he's gonna knock you out like Sean Brady, or I'm gonna walk through you, and you know, people disrespecting you. This fight, people are disrespecting me. They think that Leon's gonna walk through me. So for me, it's always proving people wrong and showing them like nobody thinks I could do it. Nobody thought I could get to where I am today. Nobody thought I could do it. I've had family members tell me that they didn't think I could do it here, but where I get my motivation from is the doubt, from the hate. Bro, Twitter world, all that stuff, I don't really care about it. People can say whatever they want to say, but all I'm going to do is keep winning. And people could say that, oh man, kid, your finish is good. But beating a top class fighter for 5 rounds, that's super hard to do, right? Anybody can go in there. I mean, you go in there, you get a knockout. It's like people had that, oh, he just caught me, right? But when I beat you for 5 rounds, like, you can't say nothing because it takes a lot of skill to be somebody for those rounds. Yeah. And you have to make your adjustments. And I'm good at making adjustments in fights. I'm good at changing stuff. And it's like I don't have that crazy attributes, right? I'm not 6'6" with 1-punch knockout power or black belt jiu-jitsu or this or that, or been doing it since I was 5 years old. I started at 23, and 90% of what I got is from outworking everybody.
Yeah. I think it's interesting what you said about like, if you're dominating guys for 5 rounds, sometimes that's more impressive than, or 3 rounds or 5 rounds, sometimes it's more impressive than getting a finish. So I love betting on the UFC, right? And I made this video saying that Sean Strickland was going to upset Israel Adesanya. It went super viral because people were like, dude, there's no fucking way that's going to happen. You're an idiot. And it got millions of views, right? And when the first round took place and Strickland almost finished Izzy, I was like, get him out of there, because I was scared that, like, you know, Izzy would come back and win that fight. But looking back on it, I'm like, I'm so glad he didn't finish him in the first round, because everyone would have said it was fluke, right? They're like, oh, he just caught the champ. You know, it was lucky. But he won like 4 rounds. Like, he dominated the rest of that fight. So it was pretty impressive. I think that's an interesting, you know, perspective on things.
And I think about Belal too. People we fought, and then we question. I'm cool here, respecting him, especially that he beat me even more, respecting him even more now, because it was a short notice for me, but was a short notice for him as well. And the crazy thing, he was into Ramadan, and I remember into the negotiation, Ali said, "Oh, he wants to do a catchweight," and I said, "But it's for number 1 contender, no catchweight." And then that's when I pissed him up a little bit, and then he was pissed about that first. But then we squashed, we were okay, and then I lost the fight, whatever. I got hurt, my fault, not his fault. And then I was cool about it. I was even giving this guy praise, and then he made a post when he said, "Oh, the way I beat Gilbert," and then I got crazy, and then I started hating on him, and then, but after a little bit, I was just like, you know what? I'm hating on the guy, and then I started looking, and I think that was a learning process for me, because then I put myself on this guy's shoes, and like he started training at 23, so he just got into sport. He got a lot of hate. I don't even know why he got so much hate, but now he's getting a lot of love too. People know that he's next, and then I had to put myself on his shoes to be like, man, 10 winning streak, and this guy don't get a title shot. Shit, this guy deserves my respect. And that's when it was even a Moicanos pod that we talking. They say, And that was the thing, because I did the interview with one guy, and then he asked me, who you think is next? And then I meant to say Belal deserves, but I said he doesn't deserve. And then I was at home, and then when that Twitter went live, I said, bro, I didn't say that. And my wife came at me, why did you say that? And then I said, and I literally said, I didn't say that. I said, you did. And then I said, I didn't. And then he put me the video. And then like I said, shit, he's still inside of me. I'm still angry with this guy. But I respect this guy. I really respect this guy because he's this. You know what? And I said, I made a mistake. Whenever I have a chance, next interview, people ask me, I'm going to apologize.
Yeah, well, you earned up to it.
And then
to it.
Renato Moicano came, and that was the first show that I see him many times. But I do respect the guy because he's full story. Not easy to start on sport at 23. Not easy to have a lot of people, family, doubt on you and do what he did. And then 10-5 winning streak in the freaking welterweight division. Whoever say, oh, but he didn't finish. You go out there and get a finish. That division is crazy. like he's very hard, and I respect the guy. I have no beef. I wish him nothing but the best. I think it's going to be a very hard fight for Leon Edwards, especially Leon Edwards is not active, don't have the activity as a champion. And I'm looking forward for this fight. I hope it gets done for July. We see that pay-per-view, but yeah, I got all the respect to Belal Muhammad, just making that clear.
Appreciate that, brother. Seriously.
For sure. The beef is squashed. So what was your opinion, like when you fought Gilbert? Was there a point in the fight where you're like,
just squash it?
The beef is squashed, but I'm so curious. I still have questions, bro. Like, when you were fighting Gilbert, was there a point where you realized like he was hurt, or like he might have been hurt, and like what was your thought process throughout the fight?
I mean, probably like by the fourth round, you start noticing stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like you never really know what it is, but because he's still throwing the bombs at your head with his right hand. So it's like, and never in a fight you want to take a pause. So then you go. I think I threw like 2 head kicks, and then when you have somebody against the cage and you're thinking, oh, I got him, and then all of a sudden he threw like a big bomb at me. So I'm like, no, you don't got him. Like there's guys in there where you know they're gonna break.
Yeah.
And there was like no break. There was always like a
right.
And we knew that he always had that when he was even most dangerous, because like I study a lot of fights. You study fights, and I do a lot of like tape study and like notes, and it's like we watched a lot of him against Kamzat, and it was like when you thought Kamzat almost had him, that's when he'll catch him and drop him. And that was always our mindset with him. Is like, bro, when he's hurt, that's when he's most dangerous. Yeah. So it was like we had to stay on edge at all points, and then just for that fight, it was like that's my title fight, because it's every single fight, your next fight, your biggest fight, right? But that is it, because it's like, I'm not gonna take this fight unless you tell me that I'm next in line. And Dana say that every pay-per-view, this, you're next in line. Yeah. That's your moment. So you don't want to sit there and wait to the last second, and then all of a sudden you get knocked out, and it's like, bro, we were right there. And then it was like, why did I take that fight in 3 weeks' notice? Why did I put this on the line, right? Fight week is when you have the worst thoughts in your head, because you're thinking about losing, and you're thinking about, why did I take this fight? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why am I cutting weight right now? What if I don't make weight? Then they're for sure not going to give me this. It's like you have all the doubts in your head. That fight week is the worst. But then after the fight, then you have the best relief ever. Yeah.
How hard it is to make weight on Ramadan?
Bro, it's the hardest thing in the world, because your metabolism's going at a certain speed, and then all of a sudden you stop, you only eat one time at night. And then especially if you have no fight, you're like eating desserts, you're just trying to, like, you're not eating all day, you're drinking, so you're like, my mom's making desserts, oh, like, I don't even care about the food, I'm eating the desserts. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now you get to eat normally again. So starting today, you're eating normally, your metabolism's like, bro, wait, what? So now you're putting the extra weight on, so you have to do a lot more freaking jogging, running. But like I had to bring in Ian Larios 2 weeks before that for that one, and it was like, that was like the heaviest I got into a fight camp. Fight week.
How much you weigh?
Bro, it was like fight week, I was like 193. And like usually I'm getting to fight week like at 183. And it was like, I know you normally don't have like a hard weight cut. It's usually like easy flow weight cut. Cause like I do a lot of, I work, I overwork. But like for short notice stuff, that was like the hardest one ever. And I was just like, bro, am I gonna miss weight right now? Then that's gonna give them a reason not to give me the title fight. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't.
So how pissed off were you actually when he wanted to do a catchweight?
Bro, I was so mad because that's the Twitter world, right? And then I'm having freaking our boys Tuco and Brendan Allen calling me like, bro, how fat are you right now? I'm like, bro, what do you mean? It's Ramadan. Just tell him to just do a catchweight. I'm not big. Like, we're basically the same size. Why doesn't he want to do one? Did he just finish fighting? He should be like eating right now.
I was so light. I was just like 188. I said, no, I'm not doing 185.
Bro, I was like so pissed. And then I'm like tweeting and everybody like, Twitter, oh, you're scared. That's why you want to do a catchweight. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like the stupid Twitter fans, none of them have a picture. And they're looking, oh, he's looking for a reason. And then Ariel Helwani, they did an interview, and Ariel Helwani was like, their whole podcast was like, bro, these guys talking, they're not going to fight. They're not going to fight in 3 weeks' notice. Neither one of them is going to take the fight. They're just doing it for attention. And I'm like, you know what? Now I'm going to do it just because these guys are saying no.
Oh, my God. Let's talk about some of the other guys in your division. Like, who do you look at and say, like, I know you said Leon's a guy that you think is a really good stylistic matchup for you. Is there anyone else in the division, like maybe in the top 5, that you just think is really good and is actually a tougher matchup for you?
I mean, if I'm being honest, like, I'm a guy that, like, I study everybody, right? And I adjust to everybody. And I never have the same game plan or style for every single person. So, like, I've had the luxury, I would say, of like fighting different guys, right? Where I'm fighting a heavy grappler and Damian Maia, and like I said, where I look at my past and where it's built me up to where I am now. So my whole camp is like defensive wrestling and staying on the feet. Then all of a sudden I fight Wonder Boy, who's, all right, we need to go straight offensive wrestling and then worry about kickboxing. And so the whole camp's dedicated to that. Then it's fighting a guy like Luke, who knocked me out, right? And it's a mindset fight where I have to just get over that hump of like, bro, what if I get knocked out again? Why did I take this fight? I don't want to do that. So that was a big step in getting past that, that boss. Yep. And then all of a sudden it's fighting Sean Brady, who's another heavy grappler and, hot prospect. So then I had to fight that type of style. So I think all these different style matchups, it like prepared me for anybody in the division to be able to fight any of these guys. Because there's not like, nowadays in our division, top 5 especially, there's not like a straight up specialist. Everybody's good everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Shavkat and JDM.
Yeah.
And
who you think is going to win that fight, JDM or Shavkat? I think that's the fight that they're going to do next.
Yeah, I mean, that's stylistically, it's a good fight. And it's one of those where it just comes out with the style that Shavkat comes with. He showed his last fight that he has like he'll adjust his style. He's not just a striker where he knows, all right, I'm fighting Wonder Boy, I got to take him down. It's like, people will say whatever they want to say, but you fight Wonder Boy, why would I want to kickbox with Wonder Boy? I'm going to do whatever I can do to take him down because I'm looking for the path to victory. What's the easiest path to victory? And the way that he did that. So it tells me, I think maybe he'll try to play the wrestling game with JDM and try to go that route, trying to take him down.
Yeah. And another fight that might happen is Colby Covington against Ian Gary.
Is that fight even gonna happen?
No, but I was in Atlantic City when
Ian saying he signed the agreement.
My brother there was fighting and Luke fought, and they got back in the bus with the guys from MMA Masters where Colby training. Yeah. And those guys swear that he was hurt and they begging him to get out of the fight. And then he said that first kick was his foot that was already bad, and he really messed him up on that fight. So I don't know.
I was at that fight live, and it was miserable to watch. It was the build up. That's the thing, and like I look at the Colby versus Ian fight, it's going to be a great build up. It's going to be lots of trash talk on social media and on the mic, but the expectation is going to be so high, and I don't think they're going to deliver a good fight. I think it probably goes the distance, and I think it's hard when these fights have such high expectations, and there's this huge build up. And then Colby goes out there, and bro, I lost money on that fight too, so I was pissed. But like, I didn't even bet either guy. I bet the fight to not go the distance.
Really? You bet that fight not to go the distance with Leon and Colby?
Well, the thing is, you have to understand on the betting odds, right? If it's like unlikely to happen, it pays more, right? So like that fight, the way I saw it was, I mean, again, maybe I was just a sucker for the build up, right? And that's why I'm like looking past this one now with Gary and Colby, and I'm like, Gary's not going to take a lot of chances. Colby's just going to be shooting takedowns, and I just feel like it's going to if that fight does actually get made, I feel like it's going to under-deliver. That's just my 2 cents. But it's going to be a good build-up.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that Ian showed that he knows how to keep distance, right? And I think that was Colby's biggest problem with Leon. Colby let him go at his pace and keep it slow. And that's what happened with Leon. Started figuring that out in the Usman third fight, where I could just keep these guys at my pace, my slow pace. And I think Gary's going to be good at keeping that slow pace. And Colby just looked so slow his last fight. Yeah. He looked bad. He looked like old. Really didn't look like he wanted to be there. And I mean, you could say he had the injury, whatever, but I just think that Gary stylistically will be able to like stick and move. I don't think it'll be under-delivered, but Gary's fine with that, right? Yeah. Because he knows how to get on the mic and talk afterward and like still, promote himself, even if it is a lackluster fight.
Yeah, 100%. Like, because you were talking about earlier, you made a comment like you have a high IQ. It's very clear, and you study footage. And like, honestly, I'm surprised. Like, I just feel like a lot of fighters like, oh, I just focus on me and I just do what I need to do. But like, why is it that like more people don't study footage as much and like really focus on their easiest path to victory?
I mean, I think it's some guys just get like
it's a lot of work too.
Am I wrong though?
It's a lot of work, but I think guys just overthink it, right? Because like sometimes when I first started, it was like I would watch tape and then I would like overthink it. I was like, oh man, he always throws a left hook. Dang, he didn't throw the left hook. Then all of a sudden you always think about something else. But for myself, it's more so like I feel like I'm always behind since I started so late. So I have to look at little other things because I haven't been doing it since I was 2 or 3 years old, and I'm not a specialist at one thing. So I look at it as like I always used to play basketball or football, and then I look at it as like that type of sport where people game plan before they go into fights. Right. So like I'm gonna look at what's your weakest point, and then I'm gonna take it there instead of having an ego of like, oh, you're a jiu-jitsu specialist. I know how to grapple too. Let's see who's better at jiu-jitsu or something like that. I'm like, nah, I'd rather see what your weakest at and go there and let's keep the fight in that position. And if it ends up at the other spots, I'm good enough to adjust from there.
Gotcha. And what's it? So you started MMA at 23?
Yeah.
And then what age did you start like training with like guys like Khabib?
Probably like within the last like 5 years.
And what's that been like compared to when you started, and like how has that really helped you?
I mean, it helped me just. Those guys just have like a different mindset, right? They're all they're all so good. When I did my full camp with them in Abu Dhabi, and I was like going with guys that were like in the UFC, and you're like, oh, go with this guy, brother, he's good. And then I'm like getting beat up by him, and I'm just like, do I suck? Are there guys like this that will do this to me? Or you go with Khabib, and he's just like talking about Starbucks order or something as he's like rolling with you, and you're like, bro, what are you doing? It's disrespectful. And he's like mounting me. He's like, move, brother, move. And you're like, bro, I'm trying, but all right. And then the bell rings and he still goes. And because they do everything to like, that's why they're all so strong mentally, because they don't really care about a clock or even like, I mean, you could get hurt, but like they're like, we'll get off the mat, and then they don't stop. They're still like taking me down on freaking hardwood. Oh, I almost had this takedown, brother. It's all right, we'll go back on the mat on there. Like, bro, I stopped when they're off the mat. But like their mindset every round is to win, and they don't care. It's not like when I go with my guys here or back in Chicago, it's like we're all cool, so we're like flowing or playing or something like that. For them, it's like they're winning every second. They don't want to lose at any point. And even in like sparring, Khabib had his moments where like one of his guys was going with my boy, who's like a really good Moroccan kickboxer. Shout out to Adil. He was like lighting up one of the guys on the feet, but the guy would take him down and like tap him out easy. So then got to the third round, sparring with each other, and then they spar like Khabib's cornering, and then like I'm cornering. So like they want to make it seem like a real fight. So then his guy was like, you know what? I'm tired of tapping him out. Let's just spar. Let me strike with him. And then they're striking, and Khabib stops it. And he's like, what's the matter with you? You take him down. He's like, baby, you beat him easy. And then my boy's just like looking at like, but he's like, so why do you want to strike with him? And he has a chance of like knocking you out. I don't care. This is practice. You win. We're here to win. We're not here to play games or try to act like you can do something that you're not. Yeah. So that just like made me flip a switch in my head. It's like make every practice worth it, right? Because there's a lot of it. I train every single day for the most part, and it's like mindset wise, I don't want to have those wasted days, because you could have those days where you just go in there like playing around, but did you really gain anything from that practice? And now I try to gain something from every single practice, no matter what it is.
Nice. So moving up here, what's your picks? You got any picks for your?
Oh yeah, we gotta get this UFC 300 picks.
Oh, I got picks for all of them, man. Yeah.
First of all, have you ever, before MMA, before guys aren't allowed to bet on the sport, or now guys aren't allowed to bet on the sport, but before that, have you ever bet on the sport?
I was never better, but I always picked.
Always
I
the
always
picks,
had my
yeah,
picks on
yeah.
my page, and I had moments where I had like a perfect page of like circles.
Yeah.
I was like pick them all, and then people started like catching on to it and coming to my page every time asking me for my picks.
Dude,
and then when you have those cards where they're terrible, and then people like blame you, and you're like, bro,
I deal with this shit every week,
and then it's hard too because you want to. For the most part, I'll pick up my heart. Like if I know somebody, I'm cool with them, even if I think it's a bad matchup.
I used to tell Gilbert, I was like, you can't trust asking fighters because like the fighters have these even if they don't even realize that you have biases in your head. And you're like, oh, I trained with this guy once, or my manager manages him, or like, and you just don't even realize it, and you end up picking with like those biases sometimes. But that's why I respect Moicano so much, because he comes on the show and he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, bro, I pick against my teammates.
Gonna lose. He don't care.
He picks against his teammates, bro. I asked him on the pod. I was like, how do you approach telling your teammates they're gonna lose? He's like, I don't. I just tell my YouTube channel.
He don't care.
Oh my god, do that! But that was
he's honest to a fault.
With like when I fought Sean Brady in Abu Dhabi, and I won, and I had a couple guys on Khabib Singh were like, man, brother, we thought you were gonna lose. And I was like, dang, really?
No, and the crazy thing right now, they killing me. Like I lose to Jack there in Miami, and bro, I got crazy messages. Like I never got that crazy. Like everybody was cool about it, but hey, you messed up my parlay. Hey, can you sell me $300? You messed up the
bro. I hate those people.
No, but they used to do, bro. They used to do here and there, but that last time, oh my god, that was. I told him there was over 1 million counting messages and everything. And like, wow.
That's what I deal with on a weekly basis. I get thousands of DMs every single week.
That was it.
But right now I'm on a hot streak, so I get all the love. But all it takes is one bad UFC card where I just miss, and then they turn on you like that, bro. That's just how it is. People like gamblers. They have very short memories. I can make someone money for 18 straight weeks. If they lose on the 19th week, I'm like their enemy all of a sudden, bro. That's how it is.
They need to be like the Australia. You know these sneakers here? That was a gambler. The guy came with me in Australia. He bought me shoes and just engaged.
Yeah.
They say, oh, I won a lot of money with you. And he showed me, like, that only fight, that fight. And they said, I sell a lot of sneakers. Let me get you one. And then he gave me this one. We went to the store and then he got me one. So you gamblers crazy. Just give us a little present when you win. Don't just come crazy on the DMs.
Dude, there was
after that.
I forget who it was. I probably wouldn't say their name anyways, but it was a UFC fighter that DM'd me after I won big on them. And he's like, you shoot me a little Venmo? I sent him a couple $100 or something. It was like, he was probably making like 12 and 12 or something.
Oh,
like,
wow.
You know what I mean? I forgot who it was that I did that with now, but he DM'd me.
You didn't forget. Say his name.
It was so funny, bro. And I was like, nah, I got you. I'll support this. I got to ask Belal, so if you had a chance on the 300K, the $300,000 bonus, right? Are you taking the easiest path to victory? Or are you going to be a little crazier and go for something?
No, I mean, you're going all out, right? Because like, regardless of my next fight, it'll be my pay will be different too.
Right.
So it's like when you're comfortable with wherever your pay's at, then it's like, all right, I don't care about a win or a loss bonus because you're getting a flat fee no matter what.
Got it. Makes
so that just changes everything.
Yeah. So,
and especially knowing that there's $300,000 on the line, that's life changing.
For sure, we're gonna try a little bit more. That ground and pound,
it's a lot of bread.
Do a flying triangle.
Any last thoughts on the card?
No, I think it's gonna be a crazy card. I'm super excited. It's gonna be a lot. I love the UFC. I'm gonna be work. They brought me here as a guest fighter, but I'm gonna be work all the way to the main card. When I saw the schedule, like, I'm gonna lose a couple fights, but it is what it is. So, but I'm gonna be there at the arena, so it's gonna be a good night. I'm super excited.
I love it. Well, thank you for coming on, Belal. If you guys are watching, please like and subscribe, support the channel, and we'll be back next week every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Appreciate you guys.
All right.